My name is Gerwin, and I am old. Today I'm content with watching the developments of the contemporary video game scene from the sidelines. But when I was younger, I was an avid consumer. Of all the tales one could tell you of those days, none is more wonderful than that of Cryo, based in Paris. The company was founded in 1992. In those times, adventure games and interactive fiction made a potent rise, and Cryo's output was entirely committed to this genre, and the company quickly attained the reputation of being rather prolific in this particular field. One platform on which interactive fiction was flourishing was the dreaded Philips CDI. The years of uneasy peace had come to an end. Released in 1991, the Philips CDI looked like it would usher in a new dawn of interactive fiction. It used the revolutionary video compact discs, and many of the games looked amazing due to their pre-rendered graphics. How could it be anything but a success? It wasn't. The VCDs were basically subpar DVDs, and the reason many of the titles that appeared on the consoles are legendary is because of how stunningly atrocious and unplayable they were. But regardless, some ambitious and interesting titles arose from that same era. One of these titles, a Cryo title, was the point-and-click adventure Lost Eden, which was released on several platforms, including the CDI. Set in a prehistoric world where humans and dinosaurs live together, it tells the story of the young Adam, Prince of Mo, who travels the lands to restore the bond between the two races and give rise to an opposition against the tyrant Moorkus Rex. Lost Eden was an exciting game with outstanding graphics, not to mention that the game was fully voiced and enriched with a sublime soundtrack. Although not part of the collective consciousness by any stretch of the imagination, the game still has a select group of fans who continue to have a special connection to the game and its story. What is it about this particular game that makes it so memorable? I decided to rally fans and people involved with the production in order to seek answers to questions that I had been carrying with me for some time. During my quest, I've talked to the game's composer, as well as one of the voice artists. I've spoken with fans from all around the globe in search of a central node that connects them all together. The game opens in the main hall of the Citadel of Mo. You are Adam, Prince of Mo, and it is the day of your coming of age. You are now officially an adult. For years, the outside world is being terrorized by the Tyrann, an army of T-Rex led by the dreaded Moorkus Rex. The game hints at a world with a highly stratified social structure. There is Fug, a guard, monk, counselor, and self-thought alchemist, and Jever the executioner. You have spent your entire life within the walls of the Citadel. There was a time when your father would fight the Tyrann valiantly, but after your sister and mother perished in combat, King Gregor permanently retreated into his citadel, forbidding you, being the heir of the throne, from stepping a single foot outside.
Your duty is here, in Mo. Forget your dreams of exploring the world.
So your first task is to somehow rekindle hope within your father's spirit. How could you possibly convince the man who has spent years and years hiding in the walls of his citadel, hearing nothing but stories of the tyrant's ruthless acts of destruction coming from the outside world, to take back arms?
I came across the game when it was given to me as a birthday present in the year it came out, 1995. Now this was the year of Warcraft 2, Mortal Kombat 3 and the original Command & Conquer, which were all based on pretty simple sprite work, while Lost Eden had these gorgeous pre-rendered 3D effects and full motion video. So in terms of graphics especially, this game was way ahead of its time, and that's the first thing that blew me away. Some parts in particular, like the cutscenes in the Valley of Mists and the travel to and from Tamra, were especially memorable. Lost Eden was the first point-and-click game I ever played, and I really liked the premise. In fact, later I'd go on to play other point-and-click games such as Grim Fandango, Beneath the Steel Sky, Myst, and the Submachine series, but Lost Eden has always stuck with me the most, and I can still quote large parts of the game from memory. Adam, my son, I asked old Monk to send you here. I fear this day of your coming of age will not be the joyous occasion we had planned. This is Eloy, and he brings grave news from the north. Eloy? And most of all, it was the atmosphere that really drove it home.
Ah, yes. The atmosphere. There's a moment in the first part of the game that has stuck with everyone I've talked to. The descent into the crypts of abandon.
I was only 8 when I first played this game, which is possibly a little on the young side, but partly because I barely understood any English at the time, most of it went straight over my head. I think the only thing that slightly unnerved me at the time was the descent into the crypts, which has a whole bunch of people set in concrete and stone arms grabbing out to you.
It turns out that deep within the crypts of the Citadel, the knowledge of the architect can still be found. The great secret to how the construction of the mighty citadels was achieved. The entrance to the crypt is hidden behind one of your embalmed ancestors, and is, as one could imagine, a frightening place. What's worse, within the crypts, you will have to face your childhood's fear, the captured Tyrann general Moorkus. Moorkus is imprisoned within the crypts, and the faint sound of his tortured bellowing would keep you up at night as a child.
This curious tablet was taken from Moorkus, the captured Tyrann general, whose roaring keeps everyone awake. I have studied the tablet for many years, but it remains a mystery.
My first fear in the game was the descent into the catacombs of Mo Citadel. You know, with the tense music change, the frightening corridors covered with petrified hands, and finally, the human skeleton guarding a heavy, mysterious round door. And behind that door, the screaming Moorkus was waiting for us.
Turns out Moorkus has been dead for a while. The supposed bellowing is actually produced by a dinosaur blowing a horn. It's a little strange, but the point is that the object of your fear was an illusion. The sound you heard as a child might have been real, but now that you've come of age, you are hearing a mere imitation. Moorkus is but a ghost now. The fact that you were able to enter the crypt proves that you are now in fact an adult, that you have come of age. And this comes with a reward. Architect's secret is carved into the walls. With the knowledge of the Citadel's construction rediscovered, hope for resistance is rekindled. Adam needs to travel the world and restore the bond between man and dinosaur, the only hope of forming a resistance against the Tyrann. Given Lost Eden is essentially a French creation, I would say it isn't much of a stretch to see a bit of a nod to Voltaire's Candide here. This novel also features a young male protagonist living a sheltered life in an Edenic paradise, which he has to leave, facing the harsh reality of the world outside the walls of the castle that he had always been living in. The paradise that is lost here, paradise meaning walled garden, is the safe protection that the Citadel of Mo provided. In the story of Adam, we can see the transformation of the archetypical prince, taking the required steps to become a true king. And the essential first step to maturity is by stepping outside of the protective walls of childhood and entering the world. A certain paradise is lost here, but there's a much greater paradise to be gained.
I have already seen that prison. Grandfather said it could be used to see beyond the surface of things.
Using the prism, Adam discovers that the tablet is actually a sort of window. And this is the first time that we meet Moorkus Rex.
What? Spying on me? Look well, human, look. And no fear. You think there is safety in Mo. Walls will not save your life. Nothing lives if I say it shall die. Already my warbands march and shed blood. Soon your brittle little bones will bleach beneath the Tyrann sun.
It is a quite terrifying moment in the game, and I no longer felt safe in Mo. I almost thought that Moorkus Rex could come in any second to tear everything down. Moorkus Rex is the archetypical tyrant, an image of chaotic evil. His endgame is clear, the complete destruction of the world. As a Jungian archetype, the tyrant is a shadow version of the king. Core motivators are fear, hate, resentment. And whereas people are willing to follow a king because the king provides them harmony, structure, and order, the tyrant needs to rule by sheer terror. Thus the relationship with its subjects is a much different one than that of the king. When we think of Scar in The Lion King, we all remember the scene of Scar being killed by the hyenas. It's clearly a tyrant whose relationship with its subjects was not built on mutual trust. Very few subjects will have true loyalty to a tyrant. This is actually expressed in the film when the hyenas say that things were better under Mufasa, which is of course the most horrible thing for a tyrant to hear. This is indicative that the king provided actual stability, a stability that is recognized even by non-allies. Don't miss out the rest of this series, where we'll be diving more into the prince, king, and tyrant archetype. We're going to talk about the unforgettable soundtrack, which is an absolute masterpiece. Also, did you know that Karen Strassman does one of the voices in this game? I asked her some questions about her involvement in this game. Her answers might surprise you. I hope to see you all in the next part. For now, thanks for watching.